For the 8th consecutive time, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has left all monetary rates unchanged. Rising from its last meeting for 2017, members of the MPC hinged their decision on the gains that have been recorded through the Apex Bank's intervention in the foreign exchange market. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, says the interventions have boosted confidence in the nation's economy.
It's the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting for the year 2017.
Of the 2017 budget and quick passage of 2018 budget.
After 2 days of discussion on how to intervene in the nation's economy, members of the Monetary Policy Committee speak on key decisions reached after consideration of its impact on the international and domestic market. Key interest rates remains unchanged at 14%, while key policies in the foreign exchange market is set to yield positive results on the economy.
Similarly, the committee reviewed with satisfaction the growing patronage at the investors and exporters window of the foreign exchange market and attributed the development to increased confidence by foreign investors and the preference of the Nigerian investors and exporters window compared with all other windows. The MPC noted that the investors and exporters window had increased liquidity and boosted confidence in the market with over $18.7 billion in transactions since its introduction in April 2017.
In spite of this achievement and the rise in the nation's gross domestic product to 1.4% according to figures from the National Bureau of Statistics, members of the Monetary Policy Committee are asking for speedy passage of the 2018 budget to spur up activities in the economy.
The committee reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining price stability, which is crucial to sustainable economic growth and development. The committee welcomed the review of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan in an effort to realize the objectives of the plan. In the same vein, the committee urges a quick passage of the 2018 appropriation bill by the National Assembly so as to keep fiscal policy on track and deliver the urgently needed reliefs in terms of employment and growth of the economy.
The central bank, through the Monetary Policy Committee, promises to come up with policies that will impact on the real sector of the economy as well as create jobs for the nation's youth.
Well, to take a look at the CBN's decision to leave all rates unchanged for the 8th consecutive time, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the Managing Director for Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10.
Good evening, Ijoma.
Some people are already calling this status quo economics. And I know you had talked about something you called
visual economics.
Yeah. So what is this all about? And no surprise for you?
No, no surprise. The last time we changed anything about the MPC changed their rates was in July 2016. That's about almost 17 months ago. So now you just wait until something happens. The reality is that, are you going to act first so that you can actually stimulate the economy and actually induce this growth that you're talking about? Or are you going to wait for the economic patient called Nigeria to get well first before you give it the medication? The reality is that this is, at this point in time, there were 11 arguments for actually bringing down rates, and there were 4 arguments or 5 arguments actually for maintaining the status quo. But the question is that the central bank has indicated that they are going to increase the interest rates, or they're going to reduce interest rates sometime next year. But the question is that it needs to be done now. Why should it be done now? Yeah. Because if you look at the GDP growth numbers that came out, 2 sectors grew rapidly. Oil, which is not interest rate sensitive, and agriculture, which benefits from the intervention funds and the low interest rates for special interventions. All the other sectors that are interest rate sensitive actually contracted. Manufacturing was down minus 2.85, agriculture down financial services minus 5.96, trade down minus 1.474, transportation down minus 6.25. This is the reason why those sectors need to be boosted out of the law. Now, why should the MPC have done otherwise? External reserves are up. Naira is stable in the forex market. Unemployment and underemployment is very high at 35.2. And then credit to the private sector actually shrank. So what we are seeing, what we are witnessing is a situation in this country where progress has to be acknowledged, not celebrated. We celebrate progress because progress itself is a path. It depends on a relative velocity that takes you towards success. Success is what is the target. We have not achieved that rate of growth that is required. We need about 5–6% rate of growth to bring us back to prosperity.
So that means you agree with those who say that their decisions should be more forward-thinking and more constructive rather than reactionary?
What we are saying is that we must bring down interest rates now. We don't have to wait further because you need a stimulant and you need a catalyst. But having said that, let us look at what has happened in other countries. Ghana brought down interest rates by 4.5% and has been able to bring down inflation from 18 to about 11.6%. South Africa brought down interest rates by 0.25% and inflation is down to 5.1% and growth is at 2.5%. In Ghana, they enjoyed growth of 9%. In Uganda, they brought down interest rates by 2.5%. The inflation is at 4.8% and they had achieved a growth of 5.5%. Nigeria has not brought down its interest rates in the last 17 months and its inflation is at 15.91. But the good news is that let's acknowledge progress and then celebrate success. That is the truth. Now, last year, a bag of rice was 24,000 naira. This year, it's 16,000 naira. So it's actually gone down by 33%. Last year, a kilo of chicken was 1,500. It's now 1,350, down by 11.1%. That's success, right? Flour, 11,000 naira a bag last year. It's now 9,800. And tomatoes flat at 8,000 naira. And yam actually came down from 800 naira for a small tuber down to 630. Now, the good news is that airfares, international airfares have gone down because of the exchange rate appreciation from 613.
But have they actually gone down, though, when you look at it?
No, Abuja has gone up from 45 to 57,000 return.
And school fees has also gone up.
School fees has gone up.
So that can't be good news, can it?
Well, no, I know that's a red point there.
Definitely, that is very red.
But diesel has come down from 265 to 205, and the airfare Lagos to London return, British Airways has gone down from 613 to 487,000.
Okay, so but quickly now, in terms of what to do looking forward, this quarter is over, we're looking at 2018. Is it going to be more of the same? Or
no,
what are you recommending
think,
now?
Quite frankly, the Nigerian public are tired of doing nothing, right? So I think that the central bank has instruments which it can use. It doesn't have to change the policy rate. Quite frankly, the policy rate at 14% per annum, you don't have to move anything. But the treasury bill rates in the secondary market actually have to come down directionally. They're coming down, but not fast enough. Today, for example, the OBB, the open buyback rate was 29.17, and the overnight rate was 31.83%. If the banks are borrowing at 31.83 in the interbank market, at what rate are they going to lend? Those rates of interest which they are lending to the public at about 27, 28%, 25% is choking and strangulating the economy. Something has to be done. I think the central bank will do it. I'm confident. The central bank governor at the Ministry of Bankers did indicate that in January, early in the new year, he was confident that we would go into a declining interest rate environment, one, and two, he was optimistic that we will get to single-digit inflation in 2018. So,
all right, Managing Director, Financial Derivatives Company, we can go on all evening about this, Mr.
Thank you very much,
for sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight. Let's cross over to Abuja, and here's Markwe Hogun. Markwe.
Well, thank you, Ijoma. A major face-off is currently brewing between operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and those of the National Intelligence Agency, as well as the Directorate of State Security in Abuja. Efforts by operatives of the EFCC to arrest former heads of the National Intelligence Agency, Mr. Ayoke, and the Directorate of State Security, Ita Ekpeyong, are being frustrated by armed officials of the two security agencies. It was gathered that the EFCC operatives had arrived at the official residences of the former heads of the agencies located at numbers 21 and 46 Mama Nasir Street in Asokoro, Abuja, to effect the arrest, only to meet resistance by operatives of the NIA and DSS. Channel's television crew was not allowed to get close to the scenes of the encounter, but it was gathered that the EFCC had obtained a court warrant to arrest the former NIA and DSS heads. Mr. Ake was recently sacked by President Muhammadu Buhari over the 13 billion naira found in an Ikoyi, Lagos apartment said to belong to the NIA. Well, to some bilateral relations now. That was Togolese President Faure Gnassingbé arriving at the State House in Abuja earlier today, and he was received by President Muhammadu Buhari and some cabinet members. Mr. Gnassingbé is on a private visit to Nigeria, and he is presently in a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. The last time the Togolese president visited Nigeria was in 2016, when he visited Lagos on a tour of the Lagos-Lekki Free Trade Zone. Nigeria and Togo have enjoyed cordial bilateral relations for several years, despite the difference in their languages. And the president says electoral reform being undertaken in Nigeria is yielding the desired results and renewing confidence in the sanctity of the ballot. President Muhammadu Buhari said this in a statement congratulating Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State on his re-election for a second term. In the president's words, quote, "The processes leading to the election and its peaceful conduct and outcome have shown that our electoral reform is bearing positive fruits. This is very encouraging, and I am determined to give Nigeria free and fair elections, no matter which way the results swing." End of quote. President Buhari asked Governor Obiano to build on the achievements that endeared him to the electorate.